Could you please describe what the main characteristics of the European market for natural cosmetics are?
Okay, what we find is the European market for natural and organic cosmetics continues to show healthy growth, but the growth rates are much lower than what we saw 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we saw growth rates of 10 to 15% per year. Now we're seeing growth of 5 to 7% per year. And the other major characteristic is competition is really rising. We're seeing a lot of new entrants come into the market, and it's become a lot more difficult for brands to succeed in this market than it was, say, 5 years or 10 years ago.
And what are the strongest markets in Europe?
At the moment, it's still the German market. The German market continues to show very healthy growth. We expect it to reach over 1 billion euros this year. And we've got a market share of natural cosmetics reaching 7 to 8%, 7 to 8% at the moment, which is expected to rise to 10%. And that's compared to a European average of 2.4%. So Germany is really leading in terms of revenues. Over 1/3 of European sales are from Germany. And secondly, in terms of market share of 7 to 8%, which is far above any other country.
What do you think of the market of fair trade cosmetics?
Now, that's a very interesting concept about fair trade. What we're seeing is fair trade has become very big for agricultural commodities, things like cocoa, sugar, bananas. And what we're seeing is the Fair Trade International or Flow International, they're allowing their composite standard for food products to be used for cosmetics. Now, how that works is if you've got a certain percentage of fair trade ingredients on your product, then you can put the fair trade logo on there. But the real danger about that, and the big concern, is they don't have a negative list. So what we've seen in countries like the UK, some companies, conventional brands, they're putting in some fair trade sugar, fair trade cocoa, or fair trade honey into their formulation, and sometimes that's only about 4 or 5% of the formulation, and you're having the fair trade logo on there. And when consumers see it, they think it's a natural product, but the formulation is purely conventional. They contain SLS, parabens, etc. So on the positive side, fair trade has a social impact for producers in the developing countries, but on the negative impact, is going to be consumer confusion, because consumers will not be able to tell the difference between a certified natural and organic product and a certified fair trade product. They will think they're all natural cosmetics, but they're not.
And what do you think of the phenomenon of vegan cosmetics?
A vegan, just like the fair trade trend, it's crossed over from the food industry into cosmetics. What we're seeing is more and more food products have been very successful with the vegan label, especially here in Germany. Vegetarian foods and vegan label has become very successful. More and more food products are having that logo. And now we're seeing that trend cross over into cosmetics, whereby you're seeing cosmetic products putting the vegan label on there. However, there's question marks about the long-term direction of that trend, but also with fair trade as well, because consumers do not usually buy cosmetic products because they want to avoid, a livestock ingredients. So it's a trend, but how long it's going to last, questions remain.
And what are the main challenges for the market of natural cosmetics at the moment?
I think the big challenge is to remain competitive and to build market share. 10 years ago, it was very easy for brands like Weleda and Dr. Hauschka and brands like Neal's Yard Remedies in the UK to build market share, because they were the pioneers, they were the only brands in the market. However, now you have a large number of new companies coming in. You've got companies like L'Oreal in the market, you've got companies like Beiersdorf in the market, you've got companies like Unilever launch a range as well, which is certified organic. So the market has become a lot more competitive. And we've seen in the last 5 years too, companies like Weleda, Dr. Hauschka, they have not grown as fast as they used to, say, 5 years ago, because the market is, I would say, it's a bit more mature than what it was, and it's a lot more competitive.
And what developments do you predict for the future in general, also on a global level?
At the global level, natural and organic is still going to continue to rise. We're seeing growth of, again, about 5 to 7% at the global level. Growth is probably a little bit faster in North America than it is over here. However, a big difference between Europe and the rest of the world is certification. Certification is very popular here in Europe. Here in Germany, over 75% of natural cosmetics are certified. That's about the same in France. But if you go to North America, USA, the market share is less than 10%. And if you go to Asia, it's about similar percentage as well. And it's the same in Australia, New Zealand, the percentages are much lower. So at the global level, consumers are going to continue to demand more and more natural organic products. However, there's a lot of differences between Europe, North America, Asia, and other regions. But on the whole, the trend is going to be positive. We expect to see the market share continue to rise.